Hey everybody, it's great to see you today. Welcome to Living Power, your online Bible study where we are walking through the Bible in a year. Today is July 1st. Welcome to July. Can you believe it? The summer is flying by. And we are studying 2nd Chronicles. I hope you are able to kind of keep all the kings straight. We are reading about Hezekiah. He was a good king of the south. Probably one of my favorites, my very favorites, because he was just such a wonderful, wonderful king. He reopens the doors of the temple today, and he asks everyone to come for Passover. Ahaz was his father, and he had closed the temple doors. And that, you can remember, was in 2nd Chronicles 28:24. The people had not been celebrating Passover as they were supposed to, and Hezekiah is bringing all of this back. Remember, the people were supposed to travel to Jerusalem 3 times a year for their festivals, and this is what he is reenacting. Most of the people just laughed. Most of the people did not come, but some of the people did come. And that's in 2nd Chronicles 30, verse 10. It is interesting, though, that there is a verse in verse 12 that says, God's hand was on the people of Judah, giving them all one heart to obey the king. Hezekiah is the king of Judah, the southern kingdom. And we see the people in the northern kingdoms doing something just very, very different from the people in the southern kingdoms. So more of the people in the south wanted to come and wanted to participate in the festivals and were behind Hezekiah in doing these things. I love reading about Hezekiah because in 31:20 it says, Hezekiah sought God wholeheartedly. Isn't that something that you would like to be said about your life? That you've sought God wholeheartedly. And as a result, he was very successful. He attributes his success to his relationship with the Lord. The Bible attributes his success to his relationship with the Lord. And we can do the same thing. There's one thing in the Bible that it says that we can be proud of. And do you know what that is? That we know the Lord God and that we are His and that He is ours. Now, I wanted to give you some background. There is some things that we probably should remember here about Hezekiah. Let me give you some dates. 715 to 686. Hezekiah has reigned independently during this time period for about 29 years, but he's co-reigning. He co-reigned with his father Ahaz for about 14 years, from 729 to 715. So he probably got to see how his father reigned, and he was probably chomping at the bit to do it his way, which happened to be God's way. And the people were so benefited because he did seek the Lord. Now, the north fell to Assyria in 722, and the people have been deported. Hezekiah not only was a favorite of mine, but he really is acknowledged as one of Judah's greatest kings. In the very first month of his independent reign, after his father passed away, this is when he reopens the temple. Now, we mentioned earlier that not all the tribes come, and those that did couldn't slay their own lamb. Now, when you read about that, if you were a little bit confused, go back to Exodus 12, verse 3. However, gives some background as to, if you're interested, into the sacrifices and who could slay what. In the Old Testament, in Exodus, originally, with the tabernacle, when the sacrifices were set up, if you and I were to go, we would slay our own animal. But here, evidently, there's something about they couldn't slay their own lambs, so the priests did that for them. The people, we need to notice, were very, very joyful in all this. When a godly leader leads the people toward God, the people are blessed and they experience joy. They not only are joyful, but they are bringing their tithe. And I love it that it says the king gave of his own money and his own resources towards this. There is a 15-day festival. They have destroyed all the high places of Baal and the idols, the sacred places. They enjoy this 15-day festival, and then they go home. What we are reading about is a revival. If we have ever experienced revival, wouldn't we love to have and experience a revival in our own communities, in our own towns, in our own churches, in our own nation? That is something that we want to pray for, is pray for revival. I'm going to close this early today, and I'm just going to ask us to think about the application in our own life. Whether or not we have a Hezekiah that would be leading us, will we choose to follow the ways of the Lord, irregardless of what the people do around us, irregardless of what our leaders tell us? But can we be so wholeheartedly dedicated to the Lord that it will be said of our life that you and I wholeheartedly, not single-heartedly, not a little bit heartedly, but wholeheartedly follow the ways of the Lord? And it would be my prayer that we would just spend a couple extra minutes today as we close the Bible study praying to the Lord and asking Him, is there any part of my heart that I'm holding for myself that I need to turn over to you? Because we certainly want this to be said of our own lives. So that's my prayer for you this day. I hope that you have enjoyed the lesson, and tomorrow we're going to continue on as we continue to study this wonderful portion of history. Blessings to you. Shalom.